What is up? This is your LA in a minute, and I am surrounded by grapevines here in the middle of a vineyard, one of many in Los Angeles, which actually has a long and fascinating history as a wine town. That's right. Started in 1778 when Father Junipero Serra had the first grapevine shipped up from Mexico. Let's get into the history. When the Spanish people conquered California, they brought with them their love of drinking wine and using it in religious ceremonies. Thus, Father Junipero Serra planted those first Mexican vines at the Mission San Diego de Alcalá. In 1771, when the San Gabriel Mission was founded, the cuttings were planted, and this began the seeds of the first California winery, one of the world's largest until the 1800s. In 1824, Joseph Chapman is credited with the first commercial winery located near the San Gabriel Mission. William Wolfskill also had planted commercial vineyards on his vast Los Angeles ranch, and the growers were using their stock of missionaries, known as mission grapes. It was at this time that winemaking in Los Angeles was picking up. It wasn't a commercial prospect for the region until a Frenchman, Jean-Louis Vignier, sorry about the pronunciation, immigrated here and sought to improve his crop by importing French vines to Los Angeles in 1833. Along the Los Angeles River, he built a 104-acre vineyard that soon attracted visitors who wanted to drink and socialize there. The winery days were still too early to enjoy wide acclaim, though. California was trying to convince the East Coast to buy its wine, and not the French wine, and Americans were still more partial to beer, which was challenging. Even in the 1850s, Los Angeles was still very isolated. 1848, the gold rush came, and many people found themselves planting grapes instead. Incentives from the California legislature paid $200 per acre for people who planted grapes, and the number of grapevines in the states swelled from 324,000 in 1855 to 4 million 3 years later. Vines were soon covering Los Angeles County. Once the railroads came in 1875, the floodgates opened. LA was one of the preeminent wine-growing cities in the world, with 75 vineyards within city limits. LA was actually known as the City of Vines, and this was the city seal from 1854 to 1905. And yes, that is a grapevine as the symbol. By the 1890s, diseases began to ravage the grapevines, and Northern California surpassed Southern California as the region's premier winemaking area. Once the aqueduct was built in 1913, all dreams of LA dominance in wine were over. Went from a small city to big city, and they started ripping out the vineyards to develop the land. Despite the rich history of winemaking in the area, the industry has a dark past. Missionaries and winemakers alike essentially enslaved local Native Americans for their labor. There are still many vineyards in the area, including Moraga Vineyards in Bel Air and San Antonio Winery in Lincoln Heights. Though winemaking is merely a footnote in the history of Los Angeles, it remains immortalized in LA's most famous intersection, Hollywood and Vine Street, the crossroads of the two most influential industries in LA. All right, LA, it's been a minute.